struggling with making our own maps, so I thought this one was pretty funny. You can go talent, and then it'll tell you, well, damn man, 165% writing talent. That's insane. I remember making 3D puzzles of ancient cities and shit like that when I was a kid. Alright, now we have at least a concept. Location, intro. So we take this, write a 2,000 word story about. Yeah, the whole point of this exercise... Wait, why did it give me 2? Damn! Alright. He fucking slit his wrists. Alright. And remember, as always, if you can't say fuck you to your friends, who can you say fuck you to? Fuck you! Specialties for Valentine's Day. So welcome everyone. And if you know your classic rock history, you would know the story behind this song. Remember, you can't say fuck you to your friends. Who can you say fuck you to? Fuck you. Yo, we back, boys. Interesting.
Are you smoking?
Who?
You.
Why?
What, why are you smoking?
Maybe.
What?
Speed 00
underscore is now following.
Amongst amateur avians, aspects against assertion attempt alteration after aorta arbitrarily anchored angst as Aspen avenge awful astards. Exceptional aspects accede aware are altered, abstract illusions ascend afar. Bouncing blight beckons believers beneath bastions both. Becoming bound, but behold bounty bursts, beloved blessings. Best biddings burden before bastard billowing bundles bent between bubbling bones. Bespoke be blessed, benefactor being bled by beheaded brutes. Child charming chase, chill compound, cast curious conversation, creating camper can cadence, casually crushing creaks. Call Casper criminal, cease cause contempt contains crude capability. Calvin chose care, causing catastrophe. Cement center croaked, creating cool crosses, culminating cash. Cruise capital, condemner, careless, could caution count. Cryptic conclusions cast course, ceaseless correspondence. Continue coercing ceremonial city chambers, challenging civil construction. And then the pearly gates open to him and let him inside. And it's like the worst horror imagined kind of idea. The looming desires pressed against me as if solid. To them I would only say, "Begone, foul beasts, we have but one choice here." The darkness drove deep into my soul, my form erupting from the light. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for me, but thank you very much for watching, and as always, if you can't say fuck you to your friends, who can you say fuck you to? Fuck you! Yo, 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 we back at it. Welcome, welcome. So, we've got a basic story plot set up. So, we're gonna try and do like a speed run. Plot: man trapped in quicksand, desert plain unknown. Hunter wandering far from home finds himself in new territory, steps into the baking dunes as he surveys the area for prey. Too late, he realizes he's stuck in sinking in a strange new land. He's walking for days to find food. Scarcity has pushed his village to the brink of starvation. He finds the end of the Great Plains and enters the wild desert, seeking an oasis in this dismal embrace.
YouTube algorithm isn't promoting our episodes within the community.
Isn't promoting our episodes inside the community. That's fucked up. And I've been wondering the same thing, because I haven't been seeing his videos, and I haven't been seeing Lawai's videos either. Or do we just say fuck them and kill them? Like, they used to be attacking us, why do we care about them now? And it's like just the opposing views of that placed over this idea of the beastmen that are under FAF. Yo, 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 boys, we back. Welcome, welcome. How's it going, everyone? Oh, today was a day in my Easter dinner today. Bunch of family shit. But hey, we're here. We're solid. We're good to go. And security team didn't notice. Came out with, dear God, it's always so loud, a new video. Going to watch this, and then if Sean's not here, we're not going to read chapter 9. I am of the here. We are of the fun going to have. Oh, there you go. Sean's here, so there you go. That solves that problem. Welcome, Sean. How's it going? I would hate to read the story without you here. I want to give you my feedback in real time. Like yesterday with the long division. Beyond true, my friend. Oh, there was something else I wanted to do too. Oh, yes. Yes. I totally forgot about this. Okay. So get this. So, for the final episode of the Seth thing that me and Buddy are doing, he came up with the perfect ending episode. A Sigma test. So, what is Sigma? In science, Sigma has multiple meanings, depending on the context. Statistics. Sigma represents the standard deviation, a measure of how spread out data points are from the mean in a dataset. A smaller sigma indicates data points are closer to the mean, while a larger sigma shows greater variability. For example, in a normal distribution, about 68% of data lies within 1 sigma of the mean. Okay, when determining a scientific fact, can you explain what the sigma system is? Let's see if this is a better question. Science, particularly in fields like physics, astronomy, and experimental research, the sigma system refers to a statistical framework used to quantify the statistical significance of an experimental result or observation. helping determine whether a result is a genuine discovery or a random fluctuation. The term sigma comes from the standard deviation in statistics, and it's used to assess how far an observed result deviates from what would be expected under a null hypothesis, no effect, or no new phenomenon. Here's a clear explanation. What is the sigma system? The sigma system measures how unlikely it is that an observed result occurred by chance. It's expressed as a number of standard deviations from the mean of a normal distribution, which corresponds to a probability or p-value. The result is a statistical fluke. Standard deviation in normal distribution of measurements is spread out data is around the mean. For example, sigma 1 covers 68% of data, meaning 32% lies outside. Sigma 2, 95%, 5 outside. Sigma 3, 99.7 outside. And Sigma 5 covers up to 6 digits, or 1 in 3.5 million. Significance in science. When testing a hypothesis, is this particle signal real or just noise? Scientists calculate how many signals their result is from the null hypothesis, the expected outcome if there's no effect. The higher sigma value means the result is less likely to be due to chance, increasing confidence in a discovery. How sigma is used to determine a scientific fact. Hypothesis testing. Scientists start with a null hypothesis. There's no new particle, and collect data. They calculate a test statistic to see how much the data deviates from the null hypothesis. Calculating sigma. The deviation is expected in terms of sigma, based on the probability of observing the result and the null hypothesis is true. For example, a 3 sigma result means the probability of seeing this result by chance is about 3%, 1 in 370, while 5 sigma is 1 in 3.5 million. Thresholds for discovery. 3 sigma considered evidence for an effect, but not definitive. It's often a signal to investigate further as false positives are still positive. 5. The gold standard for a discovery in many fields, especially particle physics. A 5 sigma result is highly unlikely to be a statistical fluke. So scientists claim a new fact or phenomenon. The Higgs boson discovery in 2012 was confirmed at 5 sigma. Higher sigma, 6 or more, provide even greater confidence, but are rare due to the precision required. At CERN, physicists looked for signs of the Higgs boson in particle collision data. They observed an excess of events, a signal, compared to what was expected from background noise. Statistical analysis showed. I don't think this really matters. But anyways, okay. So, what is the highest recorded sigma for a scientific field? Concept of sigma. But no, okay. Subsequent detections with more data have achieved higher significances, but none are reported as exceeding 10 sigma range suggested for early particle physics discoveries. The highest recorded sigma in a scientific field is likely from Z boson discovery in particle physics, with an inferred significance potentially exceeding 10 sigma due to 22 events over a near zero background. Exact values this high are rarely reported due to systematic uncertainties and the sufficiency of sigma 5 for discovery claims. Okay, so if you were to take the sigma system and apply it to an event such as Jane Roberts reading or dictating the Seth material, and she spoke over 3 million words without one single misused word, fumble in sentence, or contradiction, or correction. Taking this statistic, what would this be considered as a sigma level? To assess the statistical significance of Jane Roberts dictating the Seth material over 3 million words without a single misused word, fumble in sentence, contradiction, or correction, using the sigma system, we need to frame this as a hypothesis test and estimate the probability of such an event occurring by chance. The sigma level corresponds to how many standard deviations the observed outcome lies from the expected outcome under a null hypothesis. Typically, assuming random or typical human behavior, this is a highly unusual scenario, so we'll proceed with reasonable assumptions, acknowledging the speculative nature due to limited data on such feats. What does it mean by this? She recorded every single session. So there is proof on camera for 20 years of her not missaying a single word. So I don't know where it says acknowledging the speculative nature due to limited data on such feats. Doesn't make any sense to me. It's over an hour. Define the problem. Claim. Jane Roberts dictated over 3 million words, 0 errors, misused words, sentences, fumbles, contradictions, or corrections across multiple sessions. Part of Seth material, channeled works. Determine the sigma level, how statistically significant this is compared to what we'd expect from a human dictating such a volume under normal conditions. Null hypothesis. Jane Roberts was dictating as a typical human speaker or writer, subject to normal rates of errors, misused words, grammatical mistakes, contradictions. Under this hypothesis, we expect some errors in 3 million words. Alternate hypothesis. The dictation process was extraordinary due to channeling, exceptional skill, or other mechanism, resulting in 0 errors, which is highly unlikely due to normal circumstances. Estimate the expected ascertainable facts. 3 million words is enormous output, equivalent to 6,000, 10,000 pages, depending on word per page, typically 300 to 500 for context. A single 300-page book is 90,000 words, so this is roughly 33 to 100 books. Error-free claim. No misused words, incorrect vocabulary, grammar, no sentence fumbles, restarts or hesitations, no contradictions, logical inconsistencies within the text, and no corrections, no revisions during dictation. This implies flawless real-time performance over years of sessions. Data limitation. We lack direct access to the original recordings and transcripts to verify. Oh, so it doesn't have access because they're under copyright, because it can't get copyright information. Claims 0 errors for this analysis. We'll assume the claim is true as stated, but note that verifying such perfection would require meticulous analysis of all sessions, which may not have been systematically done. Model of the probability of errors. To calculate a sigma level, we need to the probability of observing 0 errors in 3 million words under the null hypothesis. This is challenging because error rates are context dependent. Error rates vary by speaker, preparation, and medium. Dictation context. Jane Roberts reportedly dictating in a trance-like state, speaking as Seth, which may differ from typical speech or writing. We'll assume the dictation resembles spontaneous speech or prepared oral delivery as it was recorded and transcribed. What's poppin', brother? Levi, we are doing a sigma test to see what are the chances that if you said 3 million words that you never messed up once. Spontaneous speech. Studies on conversational English suggest error rates of 0.5 to 2% of words involve disfluences, hesitations, false starts, or corrections. For example, disfluences rates 5 to 10 per 100 words, restarts. Grammatical errors in word misuse, 0.1 to 0.5% of words. Just remembering an Isaac Asimov story where the MCs build their own chronoscope because the historian isn't being approved for his study of ancient Mesopotamia. The flaw is in the chronoscope is that the further back in time you attempt to view, the more static there would be. So roughly a century was the limit for meaningful study. However, A nanosecond is all that's needed to be considered the past. So spying is very easy. My thought is that the chronoscope needs more sensors. True. Imagine if it was built today and not built 300 years ago. That's the thing, right? Using current technology and not just gear systems, but actual like digital instead of analog. Prepared speeches, trained speakers have lower rates, perhaps 0.01, 0.01 for grammatical mistakes or word misuse, fewer disfluencies, or scripts. Writing, editing. Professional writing after editing might achieve error rates below 0.01. Contradictions. Logical inconsistencies are harder to quantify. In philosophical or metaphysical texts like the Seth material, contradictions might occur 0.001 to 1% of statements, depending on complexity. Let's assume one potential contradiction per 10,000 words, a generous estimate for a coherent speaker. Hilarious example of a minimum viable product. True. For conservatism, assume a low error rate as Jane Roberts was experienced and possibly in a focused state. Total error rate. Combined word misuse, fumbles, and contradictions. Assume an error of any type occurs 1 per 10,000 words, which is optimistic for real-time dictation akin to highly polished speakers. For 3,000 words, 300 errors. Observed errors, 0. Statistical method. The number of errors in 3 million words can be modeled as a Poisson distribution. Appropriate for rare events. Errors over many trials. Words. Expected number of errors, 300. Probability of zero errors. This probability, 10 to the negative 130, is astronomically small, indicating that observing 0 errors is extraordinarily unlikely under the null hypothesis. Step 5. Convert to sigma level. The sigma level is the number of standard deviations corresponding to probability of the observed outcome. For a Poisson distribution with mean error equals 300, the probability of 0 events is the extreme tail. To approximate the sigma level, normal approximation for large, don't know what that sign is. Approximated by normal distribution and mean, standard deviation, p-value. Okay, let's just doing math. Interpret the sigma level. Significance. Sigma 5 result is 3 to 10 to the negative 7 is the threshold. Poisson almost rhymes with croissant. Chronoscope uses mathematics to determine where clinician particles were in the past, but all the sensors would have been inside the unit. If, however, there were sensors all over the world with a central processor linked to the chronoscopes in the historical studies buildings, could then range much further into the past by having readings from everywhere on the planet. Further sensors on drones spread out along the orbit of Earth would gather even more data. It also means fish. Poisson. Interesting. I hate English and words. Is the threshold for discovery in particle physics, implying a 1 in 3 million chance of being random. A 25 to 30 sigma result is exceptionally more significant, with a probability of 10 to 1 in the 100, 10 to what the negative 130, effectively ruling out chance under the assumed error rate. Implications. If the claim is true, 0 errors in 3 million words, the suggestion is an extraordinary process. Whether exceptional human ability, meticulous preparation, or a non-human source, as claimed channeling, statistically, it's far beyond typical human performance. Even if she made, let's say, 2,000 mistakes in 3 million words, what would the sigma on that be? I'm not even going to read it. I'm just going to get the final dictation. I was just trying to give some background information as to like why this sigma is significantly sigma 3.5. Come on, give me the conclusion. Damn, actually 0 sigma. If you make 2,000 errors in 3 million words, statistically it's 0. Huh. I just wanted to do a comparison to see what the difference between something like that is, right? Very interesting, though. So that episode is going to be cool. What kinds of errors are we talking about? When Jane Roberts starts talking, when she's channeling Seth, she never stops once she's started until the entirety of what she said is done. Then do that for 20 years. No ums, no uhs, no, oh, I missaid this word instead of that word. Not a single mistake when she was channeling Seth. And talking about super complicated, like, out-of-this-world ideas as well. But no one took it seriously, and no one did any analysis on it, and no one, apparently to this day, still has done no analysis on it. Even though, like, as far as I know, the family has all of the tapes. And just no one's interested in it. But yeah, so that'll be like the 4th episode. It'll be like, what's the significance of doing something like that? And there is the proof, just no one's looked at the proof. So when it says there isn't proof, there actually is. It's just, it hasn't been looked at. Because they recorded every single session that they did, because they knew how important it was, and they knew how much people wouldn't believe them. But anyways, let us actually do what we're doing today. New UFO shit! Let's go! Tyler's got the word on us. Signs of alien life found in space as we reveal new UFOs seen on Earth. Oh, there's also, if you guys didn't know, Ordinary Gamers did a thing on it. I don't know if I have. Yeah, here we go. Discovered possible alien life. We discovered a planet that has, like, in its atmosphere has methane and carbon dioxide, and we believe there's the possibility that it could, again, tangent needs to be in bold lol. On the topic of aliens, have recently just fallen down the rabbit hole of Catholic anti-alien discourse. I mean, to the Catholic Church, aliens, like, beings from another dimension, we're not talking like aliens as in another physical life form, we're talking aliens as in beings from alternate dimensions. Like, energy beings that are pure consciousness, beings that don't have a physical form, or they're using technology that allows them to travel through dimensions and interact on a completely, like, conscious level. Like, that's the scope of aliens that we're talking about. We're not talking necessarily about little green men. Yeah, that basically just sounds like demons. Exactly, Levi. Exactly.
Rumors say that they may have found the strongest hint yet of life beyond Earth. Should we grab our tinfoil
hats? I don't know.
I never smoked this bowl. That's why I feel like I need to smoke.
The team at the University of Cambridge.
We found the strongest evidence to date of possible biological
Or yes,
activity
very
on
much
an
so.
exoplanet.
Thank you, very good. Very good, buddy.
Here's
guy.
some
Very
news
good.
you probably did not expect to hear tonight. Scientists say they've encountered the strongest evidence for alien life on a planet 120 light years from Earth. Researchers say the planet named K2-18b.
Tracy and Daybreak, thank you, Jordan. We turn now to a possible sign of life beyond Earth. Scientists say using the James Webb Telescope.
This discovery is really leading the charge of
Demon to me means otherworldly creature,
life
dimensional
that's
travel,
there.
or from another
So we
rock
look at
somewhere.
These exoplanets,
I don't care which.
And we're just
I mean,
making
true.
these small steps towards that.
To me, a
big question
demon
that
is
all
my
of us have.
internal
Is there life beyond
combustion engine of hatred and fury
Hey,
and
what's up,
rage
guys?
and
Tyler here with Security.
temperament
So real
that,
quick before
that
we
I
get
keep
into
down and,
the
you know,
insane
it's
UFO
like I
clips
pressed
that
it
I've
down
got
to the
lined up
center
for
of
you
the
today,
earth.
I wanted to touch on
Fuck
this
that.
headline that's been blowing up across the news over the past 24 hours or so. You've probably already seen it with titles and headlines such as signs
It's
of
124
alien
light
life
years, guys.
discovered
Get your
on
numbers
a
right.
distant planet.
Jesus.
But if you haven't, let me break it down for you in a nutshell. So, scientists using the James Webb Space Telescope may have picked up some very unusual chemical signals in the atmosphere of a planet called K2-18b, about 120 light years from planet Earth. It's what they call a
The evidential power of observations, like atmospheric analysis, is only as strong as our disbelief in the existence of other possible explanations. Very true, Levi. And most of the time, like, it's just, oh, these are the chemicals that we know are inside of life. And we haven't found other planets that have methane and CO2 in their atmosphere. So, you know, that's why they're like, this is the strongest we've seen, which is like probably not even a Sigma 1.
a Hycean world, likely covered in oceans and shrouded in a thick hydrogen-rich atmosphere. Basically, a super Earth that could potentially support
Yeah, it's
life.
8 times
Now,
the size
what
of
they
Earth,
found
too.
were
It's a fucking
traces
super
of
Earth, and it's a
methane,
water
carbon
planet.
dioxide, and something called dimethyl sulfide, or DMS. On Earth,
DMT,
DMS
what?
is only produced by living organisms.
Yeah, it's like a form of
mostly
DMT.
marine life, things in our oceans. So yeah, naturally, that's triggered all the alien headlines, and I can understand why. However, I don't want to get carried away just yet, which is
Yeah,
why
it's
I'm
not
only
saying it's
touching on
aliens,
this
it's saying
briefly,
there's
as I
these
know
things
most
that
of you
are
have already
this.
heard about it, but the detection isn't 100% confirmed.
Yeah.
It's hovering around a 3 sigma confidence
Yeah,
level.
see, it's
That
not even
means
5.
It's promising, but not ironclad. These signals could also come from non-biological sources, like volcanic or chemical reactions. And so I'm
Base, not getting carried away. It'd be so easy to overhype this. Yeah, and people are. That's why so many people are like, when they say we've discovered alien life, no, we haven't discovered alien life. It's total fucking clickbait
showing
every
you on the
time.
screen here some artist
It's like
renditions of
I need 2 things to happen. Life existing elsewhere. Very high probability. Having had enough time for complex organisms capable of sentience, not as high. As it took for 4.2 billion years for our level of complexity to exist. Not many stars live that long. Yeah, true. Our star is a very, like, interesting, how do I put this? Like, it's almost like it's too small for its age. Among, like, other M-class, I think it's M-class stars. Like, within the heat range of, like, 5,600 Kelvin, I think it is. Which makes that, like, direct, bright yellow.
what this planet may look like. And basically, it could be a planet that may be completely covered in oceans, wrapped in this thick, hydrogen-rich atmosphere that gives it a bluish hue when looking at it from space, but when down on the surface, the oceans have more of a reddish tinge to them that then reflect off of the sky, with what's called a cool red dwarf star in orbit. Another thing to note here is that the data from this exoplanet is over 120 years old. That's how long it takes light from the system to reach us. So even if it's crawling with microbes or something more, what we're seeing now is in the past. The planet could be teeming with advanced life by now, or it could be long dead. We just don't know, and we won't.
That's one of the
until
biggest
technology
problems.
gives us a closer look.
You have like a great planet to go to, and by the time you get there, and 120 light years is basically in our backyard. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's nothing. 120 light years? That's what? 90% of the speed of light? That's like 600 years? Also, 120 years is nothing in geological timescale. True. We also have other things going for us. The asteroid belt acts as a shield, as do the rings of exterior gas giants. The Oort cloud is an even larger shield, protecting us from doomsday asteroids, killing everything. As well as, like, an insane amount of, like, cosmic radiation and stuff like that. Like, we are in the nestled cradle of the bosom of the universe, or the galaxy, essentially. Like, it is insane the amount of things that basically would destroy us every day if not for, like, all that shield around us. And then there's also the Van Allen belt that, like, pulls in all of the radiation and basically slows it down so it doesn't just instantly rip through the planet. Actually, there's mounting evidence that the gas giants may increase the likelihood of asteroid strikes. Well, I could see that, Levi, because they have such a massive, massive gravity. But the thing is, because they would pull things, because things close by would get pulled into their orbit, right? But things really, really far away would just get retracted and eventually get closer and closer until they got pulled by the solar system into the solar system. But they wouldn't necessarily get pulled into the orbit of the gas giants.
Someone decides to drop in and say hello.
That's what they think happened with Oumuamua, was like just Uranus and Saturn and Jupiter being in such a place that it just had the gravity to pull it close enough that it actually went through our solar system.
And now I'm not saying that this news isn't exciting, because it really is.
Yeah, it's exciting,
it's
just don't overstate what it actually is.
About, but we should
right?
also stay grounded and not forget what we've already learned from the evidence gathered.
The rings, though, are quite dense, so a rock can hit the ice chunks and break into smaller pieces and slow them down. True.
Right here on planet Earth. And, you know,
TRB3!
Before we move forward, I just have to say that every time I see one of these headlines about another exoplanet finding, I find it a little ironic and interesting that the same kinds of molecules, methane, phosphine, even sulfur compounds, when they show up here on Earth in the aftermath of reported UFO landings, strange sky phenomena, or unexplained sightings, they're pretty much instantly brushed off. But when they show up 120 light years away, suddenly it's breaking news and everyone's excited. So why?
Have you ever seen the crop fields that, like, they inspect and they go up to them and it's like you can clearly tell that not only is, like, for instance, like the wheat not just knocked over, it's like interwoven as if someone had braided it together. And it's slightly melted as if a hot surface, like, pressed it down and crumpled it together. As if, like, there was, like, some kind of, like, heated swirling effect, like what happens when you put all your cords together and then they all magically get entwined. Like, that's literally, like, what the feeling is in, like, some crop circles. Because obviously there are crop circles that are fake, but then I think there are also crop circles that are real. But the problem is differentiating the fake ones from the real ones.
Why is it only believable when it's not happening in our backyard and is 120 years in the past? And that brings me to this. We've been documenting unexplained aerial craft, UAPs,
that was
UFOs,
caught on camera.
whatever you want to call them, strange visitors, and what amount to off-world, otherworldly structures on our moon and planet Mars for decades.
It's woven together, then they thought it couldn't happen under power lines, and stated as such on air, only for the crop circles to start forming under the power lines. then we get the same things happening on frozen lakes. Yep.
There is a literal mountain of footage, imagery, satellite data, and eyewitness reports that already tell us that we are not alone. So when mainstream science gets excited about maybe finding microbe farts
That's called a Hycene world.
from light years away, I don't know,
Which is
man,
a water world.
It kind of leaves me wanting more. But still, this is a big deal because even if it's not direct proof of life, it means that our instruments are finally getting good enough to sniff out complex chemistry on distant worlds, and that opens doors. So please tell me what you guys think down below, and I will follow this breaking news and anything further as we continue uploading videos. So now let's shift gears, because what I've got next, well, it might be a little bit more convincing than molecules that are 120 light years away, because right now it is time to jump into some brand new UFO footage for the rest of today's video. So let's jump into the first clip.
Overlooking Salt Lake, mid-September.
It's a TRB-3!
Yeah, this appears to be kind of like a triangular shaped gray object.
I would hope that this pans out, because it could mean an alternate world to move to in the far distant future. Yeah. But there are so many, like, worlds. Clearly a weather balloon.
It's moving to the north a little bit.
Clearly a stealth bomber. But it's sitting, like, basically stationary in the air, right? Like, think of how long it takes a plane to fly overhead. Like, 3 minutes? From, like, horizon to horizon, generally? And that's like a commercial plane, not even like a jet.
Overlooking Salt Lake, mid-September. Got this thing in the sky, looks like a triangular, kind of like
It could be some lightweight debris that's been picked up by the wind.
shape.
It's very true.
It's not moving, it's just kind of...
That's why Tyler never says, oh, this is a UFO. He says, what do you guys think, you know? It could be something else. And that's why I really like Tyler, because he never says, yeah, this is an alien. He goes,
observing.
it could be. Or a condor? I mean, it could be lots of things, right? It's just interesting. It's a giant kite with reflectors to look like lights. Like, all of the UFOs over New Jersey that were just drones. People are fucking retarded. But I mean, it's interesting, right? But the problem is there's so many of them. It's like, and when something is something, it's like what Tyler will do sometimes is he'll find something that's like, UFO doesn't mean alien. We just don't know what it is, and it's flying. Exactly. That's another thing, right? It could easily be some sort of like military spy thing, or like some sort of just like public test of something like that, right? To be fair, the drones were literally unidentified flying objects. Yeah, so it's like UFO is just really overused for, especially the fact, like, it's one thing to have UFOs in the 1930s when it's like there's no air traffic and like no satellites, but like nowadays it's like there's so many things in the sky, like it's kind of ridiculous sometimes.
Let's zoom in a little bit more.
But it is just eerily stationary in
First,
there.
we've got a jaw-dropping case out of Salt Lake City that's been hiding in plain sight since mid-September 2022, and it's a classic black triangle hit-and-run type clip That is a total head-scratcher. As pictured in the footage looping for you now, we witness a typical sunset over downtown Salt Lake City, the skyline lit orange, and hovering just above those high-rises is a semi-transparent, wedge-shaped UFO craft about the size of a small airliner, roughly 60 to 75 feet tip to tip, holding position at an estimated 1,300-foot ceiling. No rotor wash, no nav lights, dead silent. Notice that in every frame, the triangle glides with that almost wavy ripple we've seen in other UAP captures, where it then eases north before fading from view like someone dialed down the opacity. It's broad daylight. If this were a secret USAF TR-3B test run, flying a classified platform over a major metro...
Really don't have a good way to estimate the size or height. True. Right? You have no idea how high up it is.
At golden hour is...
The best thing you can do is if it's a cloudy day, you can tell if it's above the clouds or below the clouds.
Basically waving a neon sign that says, "Look up." Yet the craft's clear central hump matches eyewitness accounts from Belgium 89, Phoenix 97, and countless Black Project rumors. Coincidence or calling card? And here's the kicker.
Cloudy day
the
in Salt
object's
Lake?
apparent translucence rules out
I don't know.
conventional
Never
stealth
been there.
coatings or drone skins. It's behaving more like adaptive camo or a field-bending drive. Either the Pentagon's mastered next-gen cloaking tech and didn't brief the mayor, or we just got another glimpse of whoever's been cruising Earth's no-fly list for decades. Classified triangle or bona fide extraterrestrial, because this sighting hits every checkbox for a real-deal UAP. Daylight visibility, structured craft, multi-angle video, and a clean getaway. So tell me what you think about this one. So, lastly today, I'd like to feature for you guys a very intriguing UFO clip that was sent to me via Gmail, which is where I get a lot of UFO footage, and if you have footage or strange news of your own, all of that info is down in the video description of all my videos, but this was sent to me by user GuffGoldG, where he states with the footage in his initial email, quote, "Please analyze this video. I saw this jet airplane coming overhead in the sky suddenly, and I thought it looked cool, but I was wondering if that is a bird following it, or possibly something else."
Location, angle of recording, height of camera operator, type of camera, the active zoom. Those things can allow proper experts to determine approximate size, elevation, and distance. Yeah, because you can, like, contrast it with other things and the size of things, right? And then, like, the distance of the clouds and stuff like that.
So before we go further, here is the clip, and I want you to notice that as the plane passes over, there appears to be a dark object following along with it throughout the clip. Okay, so I emailed the viewer back and essentially told him that it didn't look like a bird to me and that I wanted to analyze it, and so he stated in his response email, quote, "Thanks, Tyler. I live in Lewis County, Washington. I was just looking up the other night and was interested at that jet flying by. It's as if that object was going just as fast. I do live 45 minutes from JBLM, Joint Base Lewis McChord. If you zoom in way in there, there are others that you can see only by going frame by frame. They come out of nowhere and then disappear just as fast. I've seen a few instances.
They're carriers!
Long time viewer here. So big thanks
Hell
for sending
yeah.
this in. Again, this is in Lewis County, Washington, and as I show you different filtered versions of this object and at different zoom levels, trying to bring it out.
Did you see that other one go by?
It's obvious that this is not a bird. It is extremely steady in its movements and appears to be tagging along with this plane, although lagging behind a bit. The object does not appear to be another aircraft. There's no FAA lights, and when I threw the footage into my AI enhancement software, which is called Topaz, which essentially just cleans up the footage a little bit more, it almost appears as if this object is morphing before it vanishes into the clouds, and I did my best to track it here, but This is truly a bizarre clip, and we've seen objects tagging along with airliners, but I don't know.
It's like the way that it's designed as it moves through the air. It looks like it's morphing because of like.
I wanted to post it here.
It's
Tell
shape.
me what you see in the footage, and please do put it down below. And massive thanks to Mr. Guff Gold for sending this in. And
Their
with
software
that,
made the
I want to
object
thank you
look like it
guys
was
for watching
morphing.
today.
Color me
I
shocked.
have a ton of viewer-sent emails going back 10 years, and we are talking tens of thousands of clips and images and news that I have not featured yet, that I just haven't had the time to feature. So please stick around. I'm going to be featuring more and more of these clips in coming videos, just like the old days. So if you enjoy this kind of content, throw me a like. It helps me out. It is paramount that you guys follow me on all of my social media accounts. Again, you can find those below, and the moment that I upload a new video, I immediately make a post on all of those feeds, as well as my YouTube community feed tab here on the channel. So thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more. You guys have a great rest of your night, and I will see you back in just a bit. Stay safe.
Hell yeah, brother. All right. Are we ready, boys? I like the title. I like the title of this chapter. Did you really have to add information dump? Couldn't it just be called breakfast? I like the warning though. Well, it's a major part of the chapter. But you've already, what I think is because you've already established that, like, dinner for the royalty is, like, the meeting time. So I think just saying breakfast emphasizes it enough that, like, oh shit, this chapter is going to be all about them having breakfast, which is going to be all about them talking about shit. At least that's what I get out of it. I don't know. But I do think it's funny that you said and an information dump. Nice little personal touch. The warning is good for keeping a sense of levity. Reads as an irrelevant warning. You don't need to warn me. I don't think of it as a warning. I think of it as a, ooh, more information. My intention for the chapter title is to allow people to recall a chapter they've already read if they forgot the numbers, assuming it ever gets printed. Irreverent. My queen, I was told you were taking a meal here, but I'm delighted to see Jane here as well. May I join you all? I have some things to relate to Jane. And then there are 2 messages received for your eyes only, sealed with wax, and signed by. I interrupted. The sender might not want everyone hearing it. It might be best to simply hand the messages over instead. Looking at me, she realized that perhaps there were people in the room who shouldn't know the messages were from me. Ah, yes, you're quite wise. She handed the messages to the queen, who upon seeing my signature raised one eyebrow, but quickly lowered it. If you'll excuse me a moment, I'll read these in private. The sender was quite insistent that it was for my eyes only after all. I'll return quickly. These seem to be brief messages. Of course, my queen, everyone responded. Now, Jane, permit me to introduce myself. I am Tamra Desona. Technically, I'm a cousin of Alien. Well, everyone anyway. But we grew up more like sisters. I'm jealous of her continued youthful appearance, but I do remember the period of awkwardness lasting much longer as well. So I think she can confirm there's good and bad things involved with continued youth. In any event, stainless ingot you brought was given to the royal smiths, and they are overjoyed and very impatient to be taught. Could you possibly swing by the smithy today, even explaining a little ought to satisfy them for a moment? Perhaps a day or two till the extra metal you said is needed arrives. I chuckled a little. Yes, as it happens, that's on today's to-do list already, and I sent a runner to collect the needed materials already. 1 barrel will arrive, I think in about 10 minutes or so, depending on how strong the runners are anyways. And I assume there's plenty of scrap iron around already too, so we should be pouring the first batch of ingots today. I'll be bringing my crossbow and bolts too, as well as my knuckles, so they'll have a couple of weapons to play with also. Remaining weapons and aluminum, though, we'll have to wait for the king's approval. Aluminum, what's that? It's another metal, only it can't be used on its own. It has to be made into an alloy. But like stainless, it doesn't rust, and in construction, it can do the same job as steel at 1/10 the weight. I'll not mention that to them just yet. I'm sure they'd be swarming you for details regardless of the king's approval. Vanessa returned then, catching my eye alone, and winked. Apologies. Those were urgent, and I've dealt with them properly. So no further issue should arise on those fronts. Welcome back, my queen. We continued our meal, with Tamra being served too. I must say, Jane, the improvements to the food are amazing. Even the simplest dishes taste orders of magnitude better already. Yet you say you have only just started. I look forward to all the new changes to our food. I smiled and noticed that both Jeanette and Alien were positively glowing with pride in me. Hey, you two, this isn't something to be proud of. I'm not inventing anything, just teaching it. I could see Vanessa's indulgent smile at her daughter. We do need to discuss your upcoming wedding, my dears. The color scheme should be decided on early. Also, you'll need to be fitted for your gowns. Man, figuring out how to isolate aluminum was a real chore for us to figure out. Yeah, imagine going to a world and, like, skipping the test phase for, like, basically every technology. Like, think about how fast we evolved in technology. Imagine how fast that would be. That'd be fucking insane. But it gives me total Dr. Stone vibes, and I fucking love it. I flinched. I can't do a gown. No chance. Sorry, Queen Mother. I do have a design from home that's typically worn by the men, but can be altered to fit me. Also, do you do white for women on their wedding day? It's supposed to indicate their purity prior to marriage, but that's also almost never true back home. I understand, dear. I'll assign a special seamstress who typically deals with men's clothes. Honestly, she's been attempting to convince women to switch to trousers for years, so she'll be ecstatic to make a wedding outfit for a woman that includes trousers from the start. You two, though, I assume are intending to wear gowns. Also, we don't have any tradition about white for brides, just something nice is all. So colors, what do you intend, Jane, for your outfit's main color? Well, typically what I want would be mostly black with a white undershirt and accent color in the form of a handkerchief, handkerchief in the jacket pocket, and perhaps a red tie for my neck. Also, I'm used to having short hair, despite how I look now, so I'll need a stylist to come up with a hairstyle once my outfit is finished, so they know what they're working with. My outfit should work beside the girls regardless of color scheme, so I have no input on that front, really. Well, Jeanette, Alien, perhaps you two can pick a color, and that be our overall scheme, along with the royal crest. Well, Mother, I think blue would be a good choice. Perfect choice. Blue is the best color, guys. Blue would be a good color, perhaps a light blue. Jeanette spoke. Purple, closer to violet, perhaps? I think that would suit the crest, and the light blue that Alien wants. Vanessa nodded in approval. Very nice choices. Perhaps these choices should be your individual gown colors. Well, the base color anyways. They'd look perfect on you after all. Perfect, the two spoke in unison. Well, now that's settled, I think you two should spend the day with the seamstresses, while Jane deals with the smithy. Off you run. Jane, a moment for you before you leave. Everyone besides Vanessa, myself, and Tamara left. The younger ones, overly excited as they had been all day, though Gabby did hug me, and the other girls fiercely before she left. Once Vanessa was certain they were out of earshot, she spoke. Those ring additions are exquisite. I know Alien will adore them, and the symbolism, the concept of an engagement ring is going to be a tradition after all. And the wedding band edition too. The florist also contacted me. Floral centerpieces have never been done either. It's perfect. I'll relay the color scheme we just decided on today, so she has the time to design something well in advance of the day. Tamara, let's continue with Queen's Eyes only messages after this. Anything wedding related. It will cover for Jane's actions, so they're surprised on the day. All right. So that's what those were about. I'm sorry for almost spoiling it, Jane. Truly, no problem. It was avoided, and you didn't intend any harm. Making sure Jeanette didn't figure me out with the flower centerpieces was a trick. If she hadn't stepped over to another stall before I asked, I don't think I could have managed it. She didn't know about the wedding bands, but she saw the engagement rings, though she didn't know why I was buying them at the time. Well, that's all for me. Best not keep the smith waiting any longer. Tamara, would you guide her, please? Certainly, my queen. We both bowed before leaving the room. Mind if I stay for the demonstration on making the stainless? I'm interested in the weapons, too, if you don't mind. Not at all. The more people learning at the same time, the better the understanding overall, since you can refresh each other's memories. I take it you're somewhat involved with the smiths, even if unofficially? Tamara nodded. I'm usually responsible for their material acquisitions, but I actually like the process. And that crossbow. Who wouldn't want a weapon that saved the king, even if it isn't the same one? Wasting no time, we moved to the smithy. The reaction to everything was priceless. Wonder, irritation, excitement, rage even. All the smiths and their apprentices were wrapped in the demonstration. And if I had any skill in the craft myself, it wouldn't have surprised me to have someone attempt to kill me out of self-reproach and feeling inadequate. Thank you for the demonstration. I take it you don't intend to offer any advice on the working, only the material itself, and a few designs. Well, even the designs are rough. I leave it to masters to perfect the rough drafts I provide. It's only luck that I studied the process of making stainless in my studies as a youth. Oh, and to the smiths, realize I'm actually in my 40s. I'm not the teen I appear to be. A lot of the animosity I sensed before erased, realizing I wasn't some punk kid, but actually a mature adult with only some tidbits of information to share. Forgive our rude expressions earlier. I expect you understand it, since you've explained your situation perfectly to relieve the situation. We'd be sharing any other things. It's a little frustrating still that you knew things we didn't, but is there perhaps a reason for it? Well, as to sharing anything else, that is at the king's discretion. The reason I know more than you is because my people are a few centuries advanced from your current level of technology. This nation, which is now my home, is in what we call the early medieval age. That's the age of crude steel. But the weaponry hasn't evolved even to the peak of that era. I have a rather long list of weapons that fit your tech level, not to mention ones from far above. I can't describe everything to a level that would even be useful, but enough that I could force an early advancement. Problem with that, though, is that it's sort of like giving a sword to a toddler. Either he can't use it at all, or else he will destroy too much before he learns to control the thing. I can't see the future, so the king needs to decide if the risk is worth the reward. Personally, I don't see lifting us up to the limit of the medieval age, since you already understand the principles involved, but even that might have negative effects if handled poorly. The smiths were now concerned. The thought that knowledge could harm their nation rather than help it was new. Knowledge you haven't earned is the problem. Having stainless steel, well, it's really no different than steel, as you've seen. It's just the next refinement. A bigger investment to produce it, but it's still steel in the end. Crossbows are just a minor change from a bow, which you already use heavily. Even if they're crude, I think that's supposed to say crude. So that might be another error to check out there to mark down for yourself, Sean. Even if they're crude in comparison to the ones I could teach you to make. Knuckle weapons are just an addition for unarmed combat specialists and ultimately useless for anyone who uses a proper weapon, which has a longer reach. Even a dagger can beat knuckles if you're skilled. Those idiots won't really change anything, you see? The smith nodded. It was true. The new weapons, though unique, weren't hugely different. It was instantly understood, and their knowledge and skill was what made the stainless useful, not anything I had or hadn't told them. Crude is definitely what I meant. Grammarly can't spot that one, since it's an actual word. Yeah, that's kind of one of the worst things, is like misspelling a word that spells another word, and then you miss it because it's not... You know, like you were saying, like one of them was like sweaty, but it was supposed to be sweetie. It's like, yeah, I could easily see that. Well, we shall await the king's decision on any new things, and trust in his wisdom to not give us anything we aren't ready for. With that, Talma and I left the smithy. Having spent a few good hours uplifting the smith's knowledge base, we were a little sweaty. Shall we go to the gardens? The children are most likely running around there. I had the twice in a row, and it couldn't grab that either. I had the twice in a row. Yeah. Sure, that sounds good. Gabby will like to give us hugs about now, I expect. I'm so glad she's getting along with those girls. The bunny girls are just so precious, and they are so cute with Gabby's fox nature. I'm going to lose it if Gabby is chasing them, though. Why? Tamara confused, coupled with curiosity. I was almost comical, though not quite. Oh, back home, foxes are animals, not people. Four-footed predators, while bunnies, also animals, are prey animals, and a particular target of foxes. So seeing my adorable adopted fox girl daughter chasing two cute bunny girls at high speeds, I'm not going to be able to not laugh, wide-eyed surprise. Does that mean we all have animal counterparts in your home? I nodded my head. Yes. Though the details are being kept secret, I actually find it curious that you call yourselves by the same root name. A fox is a fox, a tiger is a tiger. Tigers are great cats, by the way. They're actually heavier than I am. They prey on things my size. Lions are technically bigger, but they're also less energetic. They live in extreme heat areas, though, so they conserve energy as much as possible. They aren't hunting, guarding, or fucking. They're sleeping. Shock at my crude words only paled to the shock of the information about my home country's wildlife. Most of my personal experience with those animals were in zoos, though. More often than not, their origins were other countries, and I never hunted, so I didn't have a reason to encounter the local once either. Is that supposed to say ones? What am I, your beta reader? Oh, the local ones either. Like the cougar. That's another big cat. Tawny fur and a roar that's more of a scream. Quite disturbing to hear, but they're beautiful, deadly creatures. Their claws are actually larger than mine, if I'm honest. Probably weigh the same. The same as me, if not a little more, too. At that moment, I burst into laughter, because I had predicted Gabby was merrily chasing her two bunny girlfriends, her foxtail wagging merrily behind her. This is a bad chapter, bro. What the fuck happened? I think I've gotten 2 or 3, errors in the entirety of the first 7 chapters, and then the last 2 chapters have been like, bam, bam, bam. Get your shit together. What happened, bro? When she heard my laughter, though, she pounced on me for a hug. I'm having so much fun, Mother Jane. I'm glad, sweetheart. Don't let us interrupt. I'll find a place to sit and watch. I returned her hug tightly, though, and snuck in a kiss on her cheek. The bunny girls looked a little jealous. Hugs are free, you know, and I opened my arms. They nervously but eagerly accepted the embrace, and I figured why not, and kissed each girl on the cheek. Now you all go. Burn off all that energy, okay? It's called throwing for content. So I fix those, and then boom, there they are. The maid whose children these bunny girls were happened to be nearby, and at my display, she decided to follow suit, giving each of the 3 girls her own hug and cheek kiss. Thank you for your favor to my daughters, milady. I hope you don't mind my doing likewise with yours. The only thing I mind is being called milady even 1 second before I have to, at least until the wedding. I'm just Jane, okay? Please? Of course, I didn't think you must be overwhelmed with all the royal treatment, seeing as how you weren't a noble. Eggy, welcome. How's it going, bro? It's a brain dead day today? Sure is, Eggy. Well, the service itself isn't a problem because high-class hotels, of which I have stayed at a few, have similar standards, but they don't defer to you. They're just professional. They're service workers, not servants. There is a distinction, despite the similar-sounding names. Service workers are equals to the guests they serve. They're being paid to provide a service. But once they're off work for the day, that behavior is gone, replaced with the same attitudes their guests had all day long. A waitress at a restaurant will plaster a smile on her face while dealing with a stuck-up pig at work, and as soon as her shift is over, she might be just as stuck up at a different place herself, without even realizing she's just as bad as her own guest earlier. I love that. So true. Kevins turn Karens into Karens turning Kevins into Karens. This revelation between servants that she knew, the service workers that Jane knew, was startling. So it's the nobility itself you're avoiding, not the services we offer. I nodded. Exactly. I'm a normal citizen at heart. Actually, I'm a foreigner when all is said and done. If I thought I could have avoided this and being a citizen without anyone making a fuss every time I came to a village, town, or city, I wouldn't be here at all, though I genuinely love Alien already, so that would have been a major sacrifice. Yet if I had never met her, well, I wouldn't have known what I was missing. Still, Alien wants to be a mother. Nobody else was going to let her, so I wouldn't want to rob her of that either. In the end, me being forced into the noble society is a good thing all around, but I don't have to like it. The maid was confused by my words. Why don't you like the idea of being a noble? I often dreamed I was secretly a tiger, but some spell or other had hidden my features, and once I broke it, I would be welcomed with open arms. She laughed self-deprecatingly at herself, because I have to place every man, woman, and child's well-being above my own, to always strive to improve my life for the majority. I can't ignore things. I must see the consequences of every action I take, every technology or technique I reveal. I can't just do whatever pleases me so long as it's within my personal abilities. A true noble is a slave to the people, much more so than any actual slave, who must only serve a single master or family. I will have to serve everyone. Dawning realization of the true meaning of nobility was clear across the maid's face. I never considered it from anything like that perspective. Tamara also looked thoughtful. By that reasoning, Jane, would that mean the king is the ultimate slave? Yes, Tamara. That's exactly it. Not meaning any disparagement, but when absolutely everyone else must be placed above yourself in terms of welfare, that's pretty much being a slave to the people. Not that the king is ever told what to do or given orders, but he orders himself to suck it up and do what needs doing, instead of self-indulging. Even our wedding coming up isn't for us, or him, or his wife. It's for the people. I just now understand how stupid it is to envy the king and queen. Not that I ever did, but others have. I've heard enough to know that. Yet now I can see they were utter fools. Tamara shook her head in disgust at those fools she was thinking of. Yeah, the only people who enjoy being a ruler are evil despots who just want to crush other spirits. There's a big difference between ruling like a despot and leading like a king. Vanessa and Donican had just come into the garden as I finished my statement. A look of gratitude was on both their faces. I have never been able to explain that concept myself, Jane. Thank you for your understanding of the true burdens of the crown. Also, that you didn't try to flee the responsibilities, but came to us regardless of knowing what it actually means. That level of bravery is rare indeed. I'm even prouder that you will soon be my daughter than I already was. I bowed in respect to the king. Your Majesty is a good king. I could tell. Your worry for your people's future is palpable. I'll need to discuss some things for the Smiths to get your decision on what should and shouldn't be shared. Come, Sally, let us depart. The king and queen don't need to worry about us spreading anything they deem unacceptable by accident. Best be out of ear for the time being. You can set yourself in line of sight and call the girls to stay close to where you are as well. The two left us to talk, and I described several weapons and the concept of aluminum, also sheet extruders, concept of screw and nuts, then leaf springs for the carriages, to which Adele had relayed that such a concept existed, but not clearly enough. I also explained all the siege and anti-siege engines I knew of, then also indoor plumbing, flushing toilets, and the chip seal road using tar. While I can easily approve all of those weapons for royal use and a few for adventurers' use. The aluminum I don't foresee being a problem either, as it will provide cheap building material that is much more durable than wood. The leaf springs I certainly want to be produced once you describe them to the smiths. They can talk with the carriage rights to get measurements for the modified carriages. Screws I certainly approve of, and the nut and bolt idea. The sheet and extruders are also of no concern, and only a positive. As to the chip seal road and the plumbing projects, I'll begin with the roads, I think, and slowly improve the shipping. Also, that postal service, combined with the stagecoach, is a great idea. I'll also approve any of the anti-siege weapons, but not the siege ones. Until and unless they are required through no fault of our own, that is. Let's not push our offense without cause. Are those enough of a knowledge dump for a single day, Your Majesty? He laughed heartedly. Well, I think if you stop with just that and don't visit the kitchens, my wife will have both our heads. Otherwise, I'd say yes. Take Tamra and let the smiths have their treat first. Then off to the kitchens, if you please. I bowed in respect and waved to Tamra so we could return to the smith. Back already? I smiled, with several weeks' worth of new concepts for you to play with. Do you have a large slate with some chalk? Certainly, over here. I took the chalk and first wrote the recipe for aluminum and then diagrammed the sheet extruder and threading tools, followed by the leaf springs, and then started the laborious task of diagramming all the anti-siege weapons and other weapons, including a compound bow specifically for military use only until the king's approval changes. Despite the size of the slate, it was very full before I was done, on both sides no less, so I was directed to a second slate, which I also filled, thinking it wasn't going to be possible to do everything. I was alerted to the fact that the first slate full had been copied into parchment and erased, so I kept going back and forth until eventually I was done. Now, before dinner, I have to visit the kitchens and start writing recipes. Ugh, my hand's already cramping. The head smith laughed at my pain. Well, you deserve it for having too much smithcraft knowledge. Off with you, I can manage this much now. I can see what you meant about rough knowledge and designs. Still laughing as we left, the smith started bellowing to his subordinates to start assembling prototypes of everything they could. Dinner was already finished when we entered the kitchens, so I didn't have to write after all. Instead, I dictated as the head cook took notes. She had acquired quite the stack of parchment. I told her to keep several recipes aside for the Queen's selection for the wedding banquet. She was overjoyed at the thought of using any or all of those dishes during the wedding banquet, and promised to do just that. I apologized for not telling her any more, but my brain had already turned to mush for the day. Nonsense, Jane. This is already a huge list of... I would honestly put a dash here. But I don't know. Maybe I'm retarded. This is already a huge list of new recipes. The detail in their preparation instructions alone is astounding, though I'm not certain how I'm to know the temperature of the oven for baking. I'll get with the smiths on that to see about making some proper oven thermometers. A simple heat spring connected to a needle with a face plate for the temp numbers is simple enough. Jesus, Eggy, do it right, brother. Boom! You getting dominated tonight, bitch. Roles are reversing up in this hoe. Oh, man. I quickly explained number characters to her delight and told her that the new thermometer would use them. Thank you very much. That will improve all our baking. To think such a thing was possible. Oh, right. I forgot all about kitchen tools entirely. So much more stuff to explain at the smithy. Ugh! Shaking my head at the seemingly endless knowledge to relay, I left the kitchen for the dining hall. Pupil has become the master. True, Eggy. I have learned the ways. Oh, man. That was great. No, actually, we want this. We want this. Hold on. Go here. Go like this. Alright, are you guys ready? We have the event list. We're gonna follow the event list. So we gotta go back to the beginning and we gotta show him, like, well, I fixed those 3 oopsies. Okay, awesome, Sean. That's perfect. Just looking to see if there's anything here that has to do with him being in gravity. Because I know he moves from the captain's chair to the pilot's chair? No, he lowers the chair into piloting mode. Okay. I'm reading a book about anti-gravity. I just can't put it down. Nice, Aggie. That's dope. Okay, so list of cargo and his internal monologue of what his job entails. Sitting in the cockpit, detaching the cargo trailer. Right, so he's, holding arms on the trailer began to retract. Once again, the entire ship rang like a bell. Anti-gravity is just artificial gravity upside down. You know what I think gravity actually is, Sean? And I don't think scientists take this seriously, but I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But gravity is actually just a magnetic force. It's just magnetism. But it's magnetism for things that aren't metal. So if you could find a way to reverse the magnetism, you would have anti-gravity. You know what would be a very interesting way of doing gravity? Like artificial gravity on spaceships? Imagine capturing a rogue black hole, like a micro black hole, and having that like underneath or like on the bottom of your ship, so that it pulls everything towards it. Gravity is the phenomenon by which any two particles, if free to move, will be accelerated towards each other, with the larger mass moving slower than the smaller mass moving quicker. Yeah, which is magnetism. But we just consider magnetism with metals, and gravity is with non-metals, because it's just individual particles that are non-metallic. But the concept and the effect are, like, the concept is different, but the effect is the same, right? It's pulling towards it. Because the exact same thing happens if you do that with a large object with a magnet and a small object. The large one will slightly move and the smaller one will significantly move. Right? So it's almost exactly the same. Welcome, welcome, Cute Muffin. I tried putting a follower alert URL into a browser source in OBS, but it didn't show when someone followed. Are you using Stream Elements? To use Stream Elements, you can go to, like, here, right? And then you take copy overlay URL, right here. Copy that. And then go into OBS and go browser. And then take this source and paste it. That should be all you need to do. and then it should pop up as one of these. But you can also turn them on and off. So maybe it's not showing on your thing. Gravity is caused by large centers off mass. Like yo mama. Oh, I did elements, not overlays. Ah. Yeah. And that'll bring all of these up, and you can have all that. Yeah, if you ever need any help, just let me know, Muffin. Some things I remember because I've done them, but like, working with the all chat, I don't remember. I don't even know what program I'm using. 7.4k points. Nice. You're close to a wellness check. Okay, so he's sitting in the cockpit, detaching the cargo trailer. I'm not recommending that. Is this just a short story? Yes, Eggy Mayo, this is just a short story. But it's probably going to be one of the longer short stories. Like, I'm assuming it's probably going to be around, like, 6,000 words? So we're probably not even going to write the entire thing today. We're probably going to... I have an idea. It might be too much for the story. There's no such thing as too much for the story. Go ahead, Eggy. Let's throw it in. I would love for your guys' contribution to the story. The hauler makes routine stops across distant systems, but the crew begins to notice subtle shifts in command language and meaning at each port, suggesting time dilation or a hidden manipulation of communication protocols galaxy-wide. Wait, only 2 months? Did it reset? Yes, Muffin, because remember we were using Botrix before, and now we're using Stream Elements. So it reset like a month and a half ago? Maybe even less than a month and a half ago? I saw a demonstration about orbits. They took a baseball and placed it on a sheet, then rolled a marble past it, and the marble entered an orbit. Though not a stable one, it lasted a long while. When they did a bowling ball in the center, then the baseball in orbit, and the marble orbiting that lasted longer. Damn, that's actually a really amazing experiment, Sean. So you're thinking like, okay, what I'm thinking here with this, Eggy, is what you're doing is you're adding an element of foreshadowing for the end of the story when basically, like, he's like, oh shit, my world is fucked up. So maybe there's, like, something like a advancing army of rogue micro black holes encroaching on the universe. And slowly over time, people are kind of noticing things with, like, time dilation in those kinds of effects. What do you think about doing something like that? Hey, Valiant Boy, welcome, welcome. How's it going? And he doesn't have a crew yet. He's just the single guy working on the ship, because they don't need a crew, because the, what are they called? The robot things. The Unibots. Uniceps. The Uniceps are like like, loading robots. They call them Uniceps because I based it off of, like, this. The hauler must pass through a customs checkpoint run by a civilization that experiences time non-linearly. Inspections involve the crew being questioned about future events he hasn't experienced yet, but failure to answer correctly might delay him decades. That's interesting, Eggy. God damn it, just give me the fucking picture. I just want the fucking picture. But it's like something like this, right? Like, it's like a hydraulic lift on wheels or something like that. That I can't find the actual one, but it's like a back piece on it that uses like a tail to like steady itself. And it's basically got like a one suction claw arm that like moves stuff around. So they're called uniceps because they have one arm. You know, like bicep, but like one, so it's unicep. That's where I got the idea from. It was like super spontaneous, and I was like, I have to do that. Just throwing out encounters he could have. Were the Stargates actually borked, but at a low enough level that it wasn't detected, but once they went out, instant black hole, and massive radiation spikes to anywhere in range. So if the Stargate near the MC was open when the connected one went bust, the radiation would destroy anyone not in cryo. Interesting. And this is like a idea of like when, like at a certain point in time when the entire world is on nuclear energy, and then somehow like one meltdown of one system causes a chain reaction meltdown where like all 60,000 nuclear power plants in the world all melt down within the same day. Like a chain reaction thing like in Stargate SG-1. Because the technology is very akin to, compared to nuclear tech, in the aspect of it's being suppressed because it could change the course of human history, and the fact that it is super dangerous. Because so far from what people have seen, only the receiving gate end explodes. So if you dial up one and you have an incoming wormhole, the chances of you blowing up are there. But if you're dialing out, so far they haven't noticed that dialing out has blown up any of the outgoing wormholes. So people tried to turn this into a weapon, right? Because you'd think, well, what's the first purpose of this? Well, it's a military purpose. That's how it goes through the chain of events, right? It goes like scientific discovery, and then it becomes militarized, and then it becomes like integrated into the economy, and then it becomes of public use, or it becomes like high end, like rich people, right? Like only if you can afford it, and then eventually it slowly decreases in price until it becomes a widespread technology. And through like 14,000 years of the story of him doing things, that's basically what's going to happen. But I do like adding in those ideas, especially the foreshadowing of like some sort of event that's going to be a catastrophe at the end. So I'll have to think about working that in somewhere. Okay, so we're sitting in the cockpit, we detached the cargo trailer, now we're moving from the pilot's chair and goes up ladder to the hatch in the roof. No. No. Chapter 8 is up to 106 views, and we're at 101 on today's chapter. What was the UFO stuff? We were watching Secure Team 10, Tyler's new video, basically talking about the fact that they found methane and carbon dioxide on a planet, and then just a couple of clips of some random UFOs. So if you want to go back and watch that, feel free. It's just a short video. No, the waste room's going to be in the canteen, so this is, orange is actually going to be for cockpit. Canteen not a word, or is it just cantina? Oh, it's canteen. Okay. I can't fucking spell, guys. Blue for cargo, we reach for the yellow railing and follow it to the canteen. So... Hadrom's access port takes to the canteen. He's about to sit down and eat, and the intercom buzzes. The uniceps aren't being engaged. So then he has to go to the cargo hold. Oh, that's what we were gonna do. Yeah, okay, I remember. We don't have that on this, so we have to do that later because this doesn't have that. Just thinking of like, what does this place look like, and what is he doing? I don't really describe the cantina. The canteen. There was a single chair, small table, almost like a TV dinner table. I know how to spell that one. I've been practicing obscene poetry. Ooh, I love it, Eggy. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. I want to hear it. There once was a man from Hartome whose plumbing was swapped in the womb. He'd pee from his rear, which folks found queer, and pooed from his front with a boom. I fucking love it, Eggy. Where is... There it is. Back on the page you go, brother. Boom. It has been done. Stupid but fun to work in the limits of the limerick. True. That's what we're all about here. If you're not stupid, you don't belong here. Oh my god. Talks two nipples, quite sly, would wiggle and wink passing by. They'd hum tunes at night, glow faintly with light, a marvel, yet no one knows why. It's because I put nipple piercings with LEDs on them. Vibrating LEDs. It's perfect. It's kind of what I want to do with like the strap-on boobs, because I fucking love nipple piercings, dude. So I want to put them on there so you can see like the barbells through the shirt if I'm not wearing a bra. Have you ever played or watched ActRaiser on SNES? No. Apparently it's on Steam. Interesting. In that game, you're basically God. You possess statues on the surface and fight demons so your followers can thrive. Nice! That sounds badass. Renaissance is a remake. That's what's on Steam. Different in so many ways, but has the nostalgia kick. Ah. Tox can write a hell of a story when he's not in a bikini being hoary. He'll lick his own pit and write with such wit. That's why he'll never bore me. Hell yeah, Eggy. Came up with a modern rethink for that game. Instead of God, you're a systems tech in an orbital space station over a colony. World. You're woken from cryo by an alarm. Discover the descendants have forgotten all tech, and we're praying to the comm terminal. You use a VR interface to control mech defenders on the surface to fight local critters. Oh, that's really interesting. I like that. Then the sim sergeant is to reteach technology to the colonists with multiple play options. You can have easy combat with extreme economics, or hard combat and automated economics, or variation of the two difficulty settings, multiple endings based on gameplay. Because your cryopod has malfunctioned, you must go to the surface at the end. Play too well, they think you're a god. Too poorly, you're a demon and get killed. Play just right, and you're welcomed as a human hero. The intergalactic hauler goes traveling like an interdimensional javelin, chasing those profits for what nobody knows, while his mind is constantly unraveling. Damn, Eggy, I love it! I don't feel like that fits there. Background music in ActRaiser has some kickin' tunes. The artistry of using such poor digital media to make such excellent sound is truly inspiring. A West Coast legend in the chat, and one is in love with his cat. With lengthy explanation to the Atox Nation, Kesser is a hell of a creation. Nice! Loving it, Eggy. Okay, I think we're going to end it there for now. And we're just going to kind of do this in increments. And that'll give me, like, a better way to flesh out the entire story as it goes. And just, like, thinking of it in small pieces. Because I want this to be, like, a really, really long story, right? So it's like we've barely even started and we're already at this point. So, and the next scene is like a pretty big description. It's called Kirkstand 667788. Because it's just like your generic company bullshit ship. The first ship that he's gonna get, the Slinky class that he's gonna get after this, is what was, I had a name for it. Struggler's Cove instead of like Smuggler's Cove. XXX Pro Hauler 420 Dank XXX. Like Samus ship in Metroid has never been officially named, though I like to think it's the Sentinel. True, Sean. I like that idea. But yeah, I was thinking, like, Iggy Mayo, the idea of having, like, a bunch of X's or a bunch of numbers and letters in the name, or, like, using leet throughout the name, because, like, it has to be a very, like, all the ships have to have different names, right? In an entire galaxy, there's, like, billions, if not trillions of ships. So it's like, how many, like, names can you have at that point, right? And so we're literally running out of numbers and letters. So things have to be, like, 27 letters long. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, atrocious, salagacious, docious, Phelatocious, etoximocious, Phelasosics, I don't know. Intoxication. Do you know what the 5077 at the end of my name is? $5077. I assumed it was randomly generated by Twitch. Oh yeah, I forgot the 7. It is T. Yep. No, it's because my original name was Intoxication, but I didn't want to use this account to stream on. So I wanted to change my name. So I changed my name, but it didn't, it still said that the old name was taken, even a year later. So I just made it Intoxication 5077. So I wound up just losing the name Intoxication altogether. Because I'm a fucking idiot. Bro has a devious alt. Has Scotty been ordered to beam her? True. Yeah, so the next thing we do is he'll be woken up in the middle of the sleep by an arm indicating CO2 levels, and he's going to do the whole life support thing, and then he's going to be like, wants his own ship because he can't even do repairs to this one, and he's like, so that's when he goes to the canteen, and he basically checks on the 9 years that this route took and looks at the technology, and then he's going to do the exposition on cryptocurrency and NFTs and how all of that works. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I had a bunch of beer today, so I'm actually like on that level of like coming down where I'm like, I haven't drank in what, 8 hours? So I'm almost like, I feel like I have a hangover. That's what I hate about drinking, especially like day drinking. But we had a fucking good time. You do seem a bit flat. Yeah. Well, you don't have enough points there, Sean, apparently. Or it just didn't like you. You can try again. Sometimes if you send messages at the same time, the beer come down during the day is tough. And then smoking on top of it, smoking makes it worse. So it's like, I have like a headache right now, which sucks. But it is what it is. So I don't know how long we'll stream for. Because again, I had to get up pretty early to do like dinner, well like dinner prep, hanging out with the family, doing all that. Everyone was over. It was way too noisy to sleep anyway, so it was like, fuck. But you know, it is what it is. Tomorrow's gonna be different though. Tomorrow I can actually sleep. Sleep all day tomorrow. I'm not gonna get like anything done. And we're like out of, well, it hasn't taken points so far, so I'm guessing it was timing. I know I don't have points, only 19.6k currently. Okay. Only 19k points. 3 days. Damn. That's insane. That's over 72 hours. That's 75 hours. See you more than my wife. Oh my god, that's great. You have nicer tits too. What you mean, is your stream wife, dude? True. Oh my god. Okay. So we're getting Coke today, guys. We're moving up to Coke. So we gotta figure out what the hell is going on here. Make sure everyone's doing their job. Oh, did I not pay him? Oh, I had to have paid him, right? Maybe I didn't. Oh, have I not assigned him a bed? No. Why the fuck is he not working? Nothing for me to do right now. I need one of my assigned stations to have enough product and packaging to get to work. Which it does now? Question mark? No, I want to see what's in the mixing station. What's in this one? So where's the product? Okay, well it looks like they're all doing something. And we gotta turn this hairy gold. But it's like we don't have any product. But I don't know why it's not taking this hairy gold. Or hairy gruel. And turning it into something else. Oh, because the chemists do... Okay, no, that's in the brown. Please retain your lungs inside your body, good sir. I've been shitting for 25 minutes. How much you bet I missed Teams call from my boss. I missed Teams call from your boss. Nice. You gotta abuse that bathroom time. Okay, looks like everyone's doing something, so let's just go try and sell some shit now. And they'll just keep making that stuff. We don't have any money, so we don't need to wander. Where is everyone? I guess I'm kind of on the wrong side of town. Nope, there's just no one here. Derp, derp. Perp, ferp, werp. Ah, bitch! Fucking hit me with your car? Yeah, I really gotta stop doing that. No. I don't know if our shit's just too expensive or what, but no one's buying it. We used to get like 12 or 13 deals a day. Now we get like none. Okay, she's still good on shit. You. Nope. Can't get you yet. You. Nice. Taco place. Okay, well, he's not here. We're gonna sell him meth. What about you? Damn. Like, you definitely look like you want some meth. She's not there. What about you? Oh well. Damn. You got fucked up. Got that long neck going on. Nice. I'm pretty sure I have to like move this shit, right? Because it's all full. Oh, I might as well put the skateboard in there too, just so we can do a full rack at a time. There we go. Now she's working. Oh, I gotta grab my shit. I'm dumb. Just walking out there with nothing. Excuse me. I already sold tomes, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's go over here. There's Lisa. Nice. She likes that meth. 3 missed calls, LMAO. Oh boy. Oops. I move jobs soon, so it's chill. Nice. Ooh, he has $4 grand. Let's just give him that. Fuck! Stupid bitch! Take my shit! I think I pretty much got everyone. Well, that sucks. Taco guy. Nope. Sorry as fuck. She's over here. That'll do. Ooh, cops. Okay, let's see what's happening at the bungalow, because they should be mixing shit there too. And see what Molly has. Give me some more purple, probably some more meth. Sounds good. Okay, where's our Cocoa bro? Right, he's not taking it from there anymore, so I gotta take it from here. So he'll actually do this. Oh, I grabbed 2 of the same thing. I'm still... I don't have it in there. Where is it? I don't have any more? Oh, it's probably in here, right? Yeah, there's the blue stuff. There we go. Okay, but they have nothing to mix this meth with. Okay, there's still seeds there. Okay, I don't know. Because it should take the Adderall, right? He's got a full root. He needs... Yeah, and that means we need... Oh my god, because I got fucking stuck on the fucking block. God damn it. That's so bullshit. I shouldn't have pulled out the skateboard. Shit. Police are nearby. Shit. Oh no. I don't have any contraband on me though. Fuck. Thank God I don't have any contraband on me. Of course. But it's within 12 seconds. So he's doing that. What is this guy doing? I think everything's good. We can go launder some money. Hi, boss. Just letting you know I'm out of product. Oh, shit. Benji's out of product. Okay. Let's go fill him up. I mean, he's pushing it. My dealers are selling like crazy, so that's pretty decent. Wait till we get this Coke going. Okay, we need some purple. Do this every couple of days, it should be fine. But we're gonna need to get that cocoa. That is our cocaine! I don't know how the progression on that is, but we'll see. I want to get some interesting combinations going too. I go from 4 to like 6 or something like that. 6 effects on my shit. That's pretty much all the purple. This to Benji. Just put this back here. Oops. What's in here? Only 2? Okay, not bad. Not bad. Wait, we need to give this to Benji. It's all empty, so we can give him this too. Perfect. Okay, so we need to go to the barn. I'll have to dip also, leave you in the capable hands of Fink Dink. Alright, sounds good, Eggy. No worries, bro. Oh, I forgot to grab the money from, what's his fuck? Well, he really has nothing. That's okay. We can get them some crazy good shit in a bit here. Nice, nice. We have 4 fat slime. Oh, that's Rhino. That's not... Do we have baggies here? Shit, we don't have baggies here. Okay, well, I'll just take it with me. This is Fat Slime, this is Tokyo Rhino. Okay, we can do one more then. So we want to take everything else that we have, so put those there. We just need to find a baggie and we'll be good. We got fats. Oh, we need just straight meth. Pretty sure I have baggies here. Hope I have baggies here. This is my only other packing station besides the bungalow. Yes. Whoops. I don't have any jars here? Oh, damn. Okay, well, here's what it is. Get up. That's right. That's where the money is. I think what we have to do now is we just have to get everyone addicted to meth. Well, we made a ton of fucking money. Let's go launder. Where's the... Yes, over here. Okay, so we go back to the barn. And we gotta figure out product again. No, fat slime is a completed product. So we want completed product there just for now. And we have all Adderall. So 2, 1, 2. Oh shit, I can get rid of one Adderall? Deliveries. Baggies. 100. It says it's already in progress. There's one that's not. That has 2, that has 2, that has 2, that has 2, that has... Okay, maybe I gotta... Oh wait. That's only Ultra Bud. Ultra Bud. Those are done, we can take those out. Truck's not here yet. We need a packager. Oh, it only goes up to 10? Okay, I guess that really doesn't matter. Okay, let's grab our shit. So we need more purple, which means we should be able to get some from the bungalow. That. Okay. We need more jars here. Let's go buy some more jars. Really nice here is this, the market's like right here, so you don't really have to worry about it too much. I'm just wondering if they're using those mixing stations or not properly. they should be doing now, I think. Yeah, I think I really need to redo this because it's putting the wrong ones in. I don't think anyone's using that one. Those cocoa buds ain't going anywhere. Some more purple. Actually, we can move this. We don't want anything in here. I'm gonna put the green crack there. I'm gonna take the purple because I need the purple. That's what I'm really missing out on, is the purple. And I think we're good. And I think we're gonna call it there because, like, again, I had a fucking headache. I'm tired as shit. So this is just kind of a shit stream today. Sorry about that, but it happens, you know. Big fucking. We had our Easter dinner today, so it was the only day we all got off. So it's been a day, but you know, that's how she goes, guys. We made it to the 3-hour mark. That's all that matters, right? Oh. And we made some money, you know. It's all good. Figured out a couple more things with how, like, the stations work. So maybe we'll get better guys. But either way, let's see what we made today. Damn. We made over 20 grand. That's insane. Hey, guys. Remember, you can't say fuck you to your friends. Who can you say fuck you to? Fuck you. Alright, let's find someone to raid. Boys, who we going to raid today? This guy's new. Let's do a little bit of this. Always love to try someone new. Oh, never mind. I hate these kinds of people. People that just leave their stream on, and then they're just like not there. Not my cup of tea. How about this one? Yeah, but I don't want to raid them. Wait, did it already raid? Guys, did it already raid? Fuck. Okay, I'm super confused because it says that I'm raiding them, but I'm not raiding them. Is the raid broken? Oh, okay, here we go. Cancel. Okay, let's try this again. Alright, this one's for you, Valiant Boy.